So after minting payment rails with the likes of MoneyGram and breaking into the world of real world assets with Franklin Templeton, the Stellar Network has been integrated into the world of trade finance thanks to Pelago Labs. Pelago Labs has integrated the Stellar Network into their new supply chain financing platform. Now, of all the things we've learned about XLM in the last 5 years, supply chain financing, I didn't see this one coming. But based on our understanding of just how much the Stellar Network is capable of, this could be very big for them if executed correctly. And I'm going to share my perspective on that in this episode. First, let me welcome you to another edition of the DHN Crypto Podcast. I'm your host, Wade Teamer. I've been in this space since 2019. I've researched over 1,000 digital assets. And the number one reason I sit here at this desk in front of this camera is to share the knowledge of blockchain with you. All I'm asking in return, you hit that subscribe button. I still have a goal. I want to see this channel reach 100,000 subscribers before the end of 2025. And I definitely think that's possible. On this channel, you're also not going to get any of the political sprinklings, okay, that has been making its way into the crypto space. All right. I be on crypto Twitter just like you do. And I'm sick of it as well. So over here, we focus on the technology. And with that, I want to share with you a tool that our viewers and listeners of DHN Crypto use on a daily basis to get a better understanding of what we're talking about. And that's blockchain technology. In the link in the description, as well as the pinned comment, you will find Blockmaster. This is everything you need to know about blockchain technology. It's a downloadable PDF, ebook, if you will, that basically, in its simplest terms, explains what blockchain is, tokenization, real world assets, DeFi, smart contracts, crypto wallets. I tried to put as much as possible in this PDF because when I got into the space, no one packaged it for me like this, and I wish they did. So I'm doing that for you. Now, with that, let's get into this story. Revolutionizing supply chain financing, Pelago Labs has integrated with the Stellar Network. It has been a lot going on this week in the crypto space. A lot of reactions to, exterior economic forces. But when it comes to utility, this was the most interesting thing to come across my radar. So, the tokenization of accounts receivable. What do we have here? Pelago's platform will leverage Stellar's native smart contract capabilities, so we're talking about Soraban, to tokenize and fractionalize accounts receivable from accredited buyers. This process creates supplier-specific digital certificates, empowering suppliers to secure necessary working capital backed by the buyer's credit. Notably, the solution benefits suppliers even without direct contact with end buyers, democratizing access to financing. Like I said at the top of this, guys, I did not see this one coming for the XLM network. But when you really dig deep into what trade finance is, or supply chain financing, which is an aspect of trade finance, you understand one of the most important things is on and off ramp capability. And what is something that Stellar specializes in and has more of than any other network on the market? On and off ramps. It's the reason why I spent so much time over the last couple of years just really focusing on educating us about Stellar. Because if we had a deeper understanding of the use cases, when we see stories like this, we have a better understanding of the value behind them. Now, there are a couple more players involved here. Of course, wherever you see Stellar Lumens, you're going to see the big blue C, and that is USDC Circle. The funds will be settled in USDC through Polyflow's liquidity pool-based payment channel. Polyflow, that's another player within the Stellar ecosystem. They would be considered the third-party tech provider in this case, if we were using the adoption model diagram. Alternatively, settlements can be made via authorized providers offering off-ramps to local currencies. It was that sentence right there that said, making the episode, because people need to understand this. Like I said, who has more on and off ramps than Stellar Lumens? Not a single person. Not a single nobody ever, right? But even with that, there's a flaw. I'm gonna share it with you. But let's finish this out here, because Danielle Dixon, she made a good comment. She noted that providing this will help provide small and medium-sized enterprises with access to on-chain credit and liquidity unlocks economic opportunities and drive adoption. So yes, that access to this liquidity will unlock economic opportunities and drive adoption. And they go on to talk about how they've already established a 1 million USDC credit facility on the Pelago supply chain finance platform. So when companies come to Pelago, they want to do some blockchain financing. There's already $1 million credit facility in USDC that they can take advantage of. So what makes this so important, and if you're completely unfamiliar with trade finance, supply chains, and all of this chaos, right, which I'm pretty sure there's a lot of thanks to our commander-in-chief, it's a simple situation like this. You're a producer of a certain good or material. I'm coming along and I want to buy some of your goods or materials. The transaction typically goes like this. I'll come to you wanting a certain quantity, and I'll pay you up front for that quantity. Now, it may take a couple weeks, couple days, maybe a couple months, depending on the size and what it actually is. But in most cases, you as the producer need access to that funds in order to fill that order. The current problem is that funding gets jammed in the process, right? This is something we learned through our study of the XDC network and all of the problems in the world of trade finance in general, addressing talking about mainly the $2.5 trillion trade finance gap. That was the value prop that the XDC network entered the market with, and that's how I started to learn about these things. Now that Stellar has entered the supply chain financing world, this changes dynamic. It changes the dynamic very strongly, and it goes back to the offering on-ramps to local currencies. Because as it stands right now, the king of trade finance, at least to our knowledge, is the XDC network, because they created platforms like this, the XDC Trade Network. There's also another one with Trade Finex, as well as another company called Yoda Plus. They serve different regions and things like that, right? But the one thing that, and I've overlooked this, that isn't present in XDC's current trade finance value proposition is an efficient payment network. As a matter of fact, XDC does not have a payments architecture or infrastructure anywhere near what the Stellar network has, because the focus has been in two different directions. For example, the XDC network, their biggest focus, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, was the digitization of the documents that go along with a trade finance transaction or a supply chain financing transaction. Some of these documents we can find over here. We look at liquidity providers, warehouse receipts, commercial invoices, bills of lading, insurance certificates. Let me take you back to the original press release here, because that's very important. This process between Pelago, Stellar, Polyflow creates supplier-specific digital certificates, empowering suppliers to secure necessary working capital backed by the buyer's credit. The tokenization of a digital trade document. Stellar is digitizing trade finance documents. And again, here's what makes that so much more impactful. Because the XDC network, again, does not have a payments infrastructure. Now, since we made the migration to XDC POS 2.0, all of that is coming. It is being built now. Recently, XDC has partnered with players like Plug and Play, who has influence in the United States as well as India, and their Indian influence connects them to the largest blockchain startup in the form of T-Hub. But that payment network isn't fully finished yet. It's not fully furnished. Guess who does have a fully furnished payment network? Stellar, the Stellar Lumens network. I keep wanting to call it Stellar Lumens. It's Stellar now. I'll get better at it over time. Certificates of origin, packing list, custom goods declaration. So XDC has won the battle to create MLETR compliant digital documents. The MLETR is the model law for electronic transferable records. It's a legislation that makes it legal to use digital trade platforms such as the XDC trade network and what Pelago Labs is looking to build with Stellar. They've done that. They've won that fight. But like I mentioned, there wasn't an overarching payments architecture to lay on top of the trade network to bring in the liquidity. Remember, we have been wondering for a minute, what's going on with the XDC network? Where are the numbers at? Why aren't the numbers coming up? And it wasn't until I read this story, until Pelago Labs entered the conversation, that I realized XDC ain't got no payment channels. They don't have any on and off ramps. That's why it's tough for them to get listed. And when they do make the news, nothing really happens, with the exception of SBI VC Trade, who on the books bought the asset. Take note of that, folks. The XDC network, okay? I know we're talking Stellar here, but the context of the conversation had to bring them in, had to bring them together. But the XDC network is one of the few assets that benefited directly from a outside influence, directly buying and holding the asset. During this bear cycle, if XDC gets back below 4 cents, then you know there's a problem. But if it doesn't, SBI VC Trade bought more, and they're holding long term. So just wanted to drop that in here. Now, to bring it all home here, on and off ramps, very important piece to this equation. We understand this. Who has more on and off ramps than anyone else in the crypto space? Stellar. In over 132 countries, if I'm not mistaken, they have on and off ramps. And they're also connected to, let's see here, Apple Pay, bank transfers, ACH, card, cash, Google Pay, local method. Whoa, whatever the local method may be, right? PayPal, SEPA, Swift. Now, one thing real quick here, because thanks to Polkadot, we know this. SEPA is using ISO 20022 today. So here's your ISO token. There, you can have it, right? Well, let's click on local methods here. Alchemy Pay, major player, OnClap, Banksa, PMI Americas, Ripio. So here's the thing about these platforms listed under local method, and really all of the anchors currently, I know I'm hyping them up, but here's the flaw. None of them have been tailored towards trades finance, not specifically. And the other ones are crypto exchanges without the motivation or need to do it. All the more reason why XDC is in this conversation, because I have been watching a lot more collaboration in the crypto space. So much more collaboration. For example, I believe Hedera and Internet Computer, they're collaborating now for artificial intelligence. Hedera and the XDC network through the Tenity Foundation, they're beginning to collaborate as well. We've already seen the DREC Alliance form. We know who the players are in that. But let me bring your attention back to Hedera and XDC, because XDC, remember, plug and play has a large influence in India. Who else is very accepted in India right now? The Hedera network, thanks to IIT Madras and various other relationships that the Hashgraph Association established. So we're seeing a lot of collaboration in this space, and I think the perfect collaboration that we need to see next is between Stellar and the XDC network, because individually you both are holding the key. We just need you to put them in lock because you're gonna open up everything. I'll leave you with this, folks. I have been in this space for going on 6 years now, 2019, 2025. One thing I am starting to want to see is these brands in real world locations, in physical locations. I need to start seeing your deep end products at Best Buy. I need to start seeing your financial services at my credit union. I'm not seeing this yet. That is why I have so much respect for Bank Social, because they took the credit union approach. But again, have not seen anything. I'm going to start holding these companies accountable, whether they like it or not, because I'm not just invested in this space financially. I am invested in the solutions, the numerous solutions to the numerous problems that they have been telling us that they were going to solve for all this time. So, as an influencer of sorts in this space, I'm starting leaning on that. It's time for blockchain to meet the real world. And this is another reason why I follow Stellar so closely, because to this point, I'm the only ones here in the real world. You go to your local convenience store, when you see MoneyGram, think Stellar. Because the systems have already been integrated. That's the thing. The systems have already been integrated. I am sick of seeing the brand new DeFi platform or the brand new upgrade or point this, V6 that. Nobody outside of X is going to know what the heck that means. We need to get past that. So, before I get too aggressive, let me end it right there, folks. Y'all know what it is, though, for real. Check the link in the description as well as the pinned comment. Go to digitalhustlenetwork.com. Make it even easier for you, and you'll get access to Blockmaster. Everything you need to know about blockchain technology. Listen, I did my best to simplify it for you. All right? Because in the everyday conversation, we often forget what we're talking about. That is why I put this PDF together, because it'll remind you what blockchain technology was intended to do, what DeFi, where it came from, smart contracts, how important they are, real world assets, just how vast and how many assets can be included into a real world asset. Digital trade documents, they're real world assets. So it's always deeper than what it seems, guys. But I want to thank you for listening. Again, y'all know what time it is. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.